Hello, Mark here, with the last part 5, I think, of this dragon card. We're painting this front dragon now. We've done pretty much what we want to do together. I shall probably tweak this a bit more. I can look at the other dragons and still see little things that I think I might change. But that's we've got plenty of time to do that. I thought I'd try and get this finished today. I've got a commission to start tomorrow. And this has been hanging around for a few days now, and I don't get bored with what I do. I just sort of, I got something else I want to do to move on to the next project. I got so many things I want to do, paint, draw, and as I paint one thing, I think of something, oh, that would be an idea to do that. And consequently, I never seem to have any time. It's the problem of only having one pair of hands. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Put some highlights in that later on, and we've done a bit more. Anyway, how are you? Good, I hope. I hope you're enjoying your... I think it's Sunday. I'm sure it is Sunday, actually. Yes, it's been a bit windy here today. It's got better as the afternoon's worn on, and temperature's got a bit warmer, which is nice, because we need a bit of heat. Need a bit of summer, really. We've had some nice weather so far, so I think it was I don't know, they keep saying they come out with these things all the time, that it's the hottest May since, I don't know, Julius Caesar invaded Britain, I don't know. But since records began. And that's a fact. So there we are. I don't know why they have to go into all these, really, because all you don't know is open the window and you see what the weather's doing, really. Weather forecasting, they call it, don't they? I'm not sure they get it right too often. I suppose they do. Somebody's got to do something, don't they? Everybody's got to have a job, I suppose, so who am I to put weathermen out of work? I would not dream of it. I would not dream of it for a second. So then, the shop's open again tomorrow, or some, but I see they got little things painted all over the floors and that now, which is rather exciting. If it keeps everybody alive, that's something, I suppose. Mind you, I'm not sure with everything else that's going on it's going to make a great deal of difference anymore. It seems to be sort of a bit strange when you turn around and say you can't have a wedding or a funeral, but you can have a few thousand people throw bricks at the police. That doesn't seem quite right, does it, if you ask me? Still, getting critical again, so I'll shut up and stick to the dragon here. Well, we're doing these scales here quite around the eye with the trusty rigger. In fact, I got to buy some new ones, actually, so yeah, there's a bit of magic there. Suddenly we have moved on a bit. Now, this will be a greeting card when it's finished, I've decided, which should be quite nice. I've got several other designs that are in this sort of 70s, what I call 70s sort of poster sort of style, the Odafina type thing, really. But they're trying to sort of draw them in such a way that they sort of all fit nicely together. So you could, in theory, set a pack of 5 or 6 cards with sort of this sort of design on it. Now, with this watercolour paint I'm using, I think you could possibly get away with painting one of these dragons and not actually worry about doing what I've been doing with all the scales. In fact, there might be a school of thought that it's probably better because they get to look a bit busy when you add the scales, but so perhaps next time I might try that, I don't know. Because the blue ones look a bit sort of dark in places. Might have to lift some of that paint off before I start to print. I don't know, we'll see. Because the printer seems to print a bit lighter anyway. So that might be alright. But yes, so here we are. I was talking to an old friend of mine the other day that used to play guitar in a band I was in back in the late 70s. So that was quite nice. Yeah, I used to play the drums. I've still got several drum kits, but for certain reasons and that, I don't tend to get to play them as much as I'd like. I might have to try and remedy that, because it's one of those situations where you say, oh, one day, but if you keep saying that, it's never going to happen. I got friends that are artists that say, oh, I'm going to paint that picture, I'm going to write that book one day, and before you know it, time's starting to run out, which is never too late. I know. Well, actually, if you actually just think about that statement, at some point it's going to be too late, isn't it? It's no good laying there going, oh, can you get me a pen and pencil, please? And a bit of paper. I've got to write my life story down. Because unfortunately, it's been written down and that's it. But nobody's ever going to read it, which would be a shame, because everybody's life is interesting. My grandmother was in an old people's home. Sadly, she lived to be about 96, I think, 97. And I used to go and visit her. And she used to sit in this lounge, not really knowing who I was, bless her. And she was sat there with several other ladies and men that had all, at some point, had their own homes. Some had fought for the country. One was a doctor. Bless her. She used to sit by the window and have a cigarette, because she used to like to have a cigarette. Of course, now it wouldn't be allowed, which would be a shame. Because she was at that point. What difference was it going to make? That's the thing. And I used to know, actually, when I think back, I used to know lots of doctors that smoked. Nowadays, I think probably even today some still do, though it's sort of kind of frowned upon because of their health issues. And but then, whatever you do in life is gonna probably be bad for you at some point. Depends how excessive you do it. And they say little and often. I don't know if that works or not. I must admit, I've lived my life pretty much to extremes and excesses, and I suppose there's a school of thought that I'd pay the price for it now, but I don't know. I think life is a bit like these things that people collect from these superhero collections and what have you, and they keep it in its box, pristine condition, because it'd be worth more. But why would you buy a toy that you want it to be worth more? Because I hate to burst the bubble on these people. Even if I had some of the toys I used to have way back in the 60s now, and I was to sell them, they wouldn't actually be worth a great deal. And the dark thing is now, with so many people keeping things in so-called pristine conditions to sell at a later date, they're not going to be worth anything anyway, because the thing that makes them worth something is the rarity. You know, if you've got something that nobody else has got, that's fine. You want some millionaire to come along who collects these things, and then you're in the money. You can ask your own price. But I don't know, even then, if it works, does it? I don't know. I know people used to make, I don't know if anybody does anymore. It's like when I was a child, I wanted to be a great explorer, and I think pretty much now with the internet and things like drones and aeroplanes and that, pretty well, the whole world's been mapped out. I don't think you're going to find much that hasn't been found anymore, I'm sorry to say. You might if you dig down, I suppose, under the ground. Things that are buried. I don't know where it is. It used to be near where I lived, actually. There used to be a village, which actually, strange enough, what we'll go for, a bit ironic, I suppose, that was completely wiped out by the plague. That would have been the Black Death, of course. And the whole village died. And, of course, nobody was going to live there, even though it was all cottages and dwellings, because of the plague. And so now it's just sort of overgrown. It's surprising how quickly nature, well, you only got to look at your own garden to see how quickly nature will take over. And recently you can see that some of the rare species that people haven't seen for a very long time are doing quite well, because human activity kind of slowed down or stopped completely in some places. I know you should say it, sadly, it seems to be getting pretty much back to normal now. I was sat in the garden a fortnight ago, and you couldn't hear a sound, apart from nature, birds singing and things, but now, well, not sadly, because it's a good thing, it's got all the sounds are gradually returning. And you hear cars zooming about and aeroplanes flying and ambulances and fire engines and things going out. Yes, hear the sirens quite a bit at the moment. I don't quite know why that should be, because I suppose it's because people have treated it to some degree like a holiday, especially when it's a nice day. Which is fine if they or not. I don't really, I mean, I've got my own feelings about it. I should be pretty damn annoyed if somebody gives me this coronavirus, because it's going to have to be that thing, because that somebody gives you it. Because the actual virus doesn't move. The only way it can move is inside a human being. So if we all stay where we are, then the virus can't move. And eventually, after a few weeks, which was the plan that we were sticking to, it will die. Of course, it will die off completely. But of course, no, we got so impatient, we've got to go out. We want to see our football team and what have you, or in the case of the demonstrations that are going on at the moment. So I hope they haven't all shot them in the foot, because they're doing that, and our poor old NHS people are still working very, very hard indeed on our behalf. I do know what they think about it, because I have a district nurse come and visit me once a week, because I have a leg ulcer, which is being treated. And as far as I understand it, pretty much they still haven't got the right equipment that they need. I know I need various dressings for my leg and things, and quite often there's a shortage of them. So I don't know. We're told that everything's all right, and I got friends that like to believe that, but I'm not so sure. I look at it like I was watching Wimbledon a few years ago, the tennis, and it started to rain, and people wouldn't put their umbrellas up because they thought if they kept them down, the game would go on. Crazy. Anyway, this is about finished. Please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time when we do another one. You take care, my friends.